Interesting. Yeah. So I decided to do something fun and just actually, like, as I'm working away on this, I know I've already done it and I got the credit for it. Just some people that I guess live around me think I'm stupid and, that, the brain doesn't liquefy. Yeah. Okay. Well, if that's the way you think, then you'll never make it anywhere in the world or in medicine because science is always changing and the perceptions we have of science is always changing. So, sure, put yourself into a box. That's absolutely fine with me. You will never go anywhere in life. Why? Because, well, you don't have what we call a growth mindset, in which case you don't belong anywhere in medicine and or anywhere near helping people, to be honest. That's the last place you should be if you don't have a growth mindset. Like, should be banned from every profession that is helping people. Oh, wait, that's practically every job. Just my opinion. Why? Because if you think you're the smartest person in the room, you're always automatically the dumbest in that case. I know it's kind of hard to read, but I will do my best to make sure that I talk it out as I go along. That's a little better. So I first got started on this as a fascial stretch therapy person with Stretch to Win. And I was watching a fight one day, actually, more like I was watching something and it came on for part of it. And all of a sudden I went, how does he live through that? Because it went to a slow motion clip of McGregor being literally punched right in the jaw, watching his face dislocate. And it was kind of like, it was essentially like the Sherlock Holmes moment where you're like, wait a minute. From a medical standpoint, how is he not dead? How does he have a brain left? How can he survive that, first of all? And then all of a sudden went, hold on. I bet you anything this is how we get trigger points. Those lovely things that personal trainers work on, that your massage therapist works on, that some people are just, they think is hokum science. Well, no. Very incorrect, bitch. Very incorrect. Very, very, very wrong. Why? Because it is. So the question becomes, why do fascial adhesions occur? A, trigger points, right? And what are they? B, where's the emotional connection with the tissue? C, what and how are the long-term effects? And D, adaptation over time and the implications. So that's the question. Hypothesis then became, as an extension to the already known concussion saver, the semi-state brain fully liquefies during a blunt force trauma event, a BFT, and transfers memory pathways to CSF-filled fascial tissue and back afterwards, further causing someone to possibly become trapped in a parasympathetic nervous system, aka reptilian brain, fight or flight, or also known as a coma. Which then has a lot more other implications, actually. Such as, if that's the case, should you really be shocking somebody 50 times during a resuscitation, during a code blue? Or do you think that's doing more damage? What do you think? I already know the answer. You're doing more damage. You're killing the patient. You are shocking viable tissue and actually killing your patient. Doing resuscitative measures. Why? Well, let's put it this way. Let's go to known facts. Fascia is a hollow strands of fibrous tissue filled with liquid, which is actually going to be CSF. Ooh. Our bodies are how much percent of water? Water? Right. Yeah. You mean that makes up the 80% water shed of the human body? Okay. So what if I told you that when you shock a patient, maybe 10 to 15%, right, of that shock you're delivering actually gets to the heart to flip the rhythm? Because, well, some people have it in their minds, right, that you're bringing the patient back to life. No. All you're doing is shocking them back into normal sinus rhythm. Well, I'm doing this more like a course for fucked up, stupid people because somebody isn't giving me respect and it's really pissing me off. Because I actually got my PhD off of this. Thank you very much. And I'm redoing this for your fucking good. Well, because the last I heard, there was like 63 people that they brought out of dead sleep comas because of this. That might be one reason. What does water create? What would this tissue create? It would create a Faraday's cage. You're shocking tissue. Now, here's the fun part. Okay, here's more facts. This is more important facts. I know it's hard to see this, but whatever. I'll talk you through it. Okay, we also know that it was supposedly 10 times the amount of neuroreceptors that our human skin has. It's not. It's actually 10 to the 12th power. This is very, very key. Ten to the 12th power. It's now 10 to the 12th power, the amount of neuroreceptors that our own human skin has, which makes us now the largest human organ. It now also tells us a couple different things. This now tells us that it's in the, and this is why it's so hard to get this tissue on x-rays or any type of imaging. You can get it, but not to the extent that we would need to get it to actually make diagnoses with this. But this is also where fibromyalgia comes from, a malaise of the fibrous tissue. Hollow strands of fibrous filled with liquid. It's dumbasses. So that now has a couple implications. One, puts it in the communication range at 500 terahertz. Light optic speeds. like fiber optic internet in your home. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What does it also mean? Right, it's not a lesbian. It doesn't require a connection to the brain because it's direct connect, which then makes it the primary nervous system. I'll put this on my TikTok, which is The Ugly Truth by Buck. Hey, boo boo, what you doing? So then, what else do we know? Well, if we're looking at its chemical makeup, let me see if I can see. My camera is a little dirty on the laptop, so I'm just going to do this. Yeah, whatever. So, what does that tell us now? Right, it's your primary nervous system. Fight or flight response, your reptilian brain, parasympathetic versus sympathetic, right? Whether you're going to jump to action or whether you're too scared and hesitation kills. Essentially, just like driving, hesitation kills. That's why dangerous drivers are actually the ones who are too scared to drive at all and shouldn't be driving. Same kind of thing. So then, what are the implications? Nobody? Nobody has implications on this. Because so many of you have no idea. Well, for starters, then we have to ask ourselves these questions. Okay, well, what are the parts of fascia that then, what's it made up of? What's the chemical compound? I'm glad you asked. Let's go through it. Let's go through it. Okay, so we've got okay, let's go through actually. Yeah, let's go through this. Okay. Fascia, CSF, makeup. Water, 99% with that's a volume. So your ppm, parts per million, in your blood serum is then 93. Protein, 35%. Glucose, this one is going to shock you, 60%. Osmolarity, meaning how much it can dissolve or change, 295. How much it can change. Sodium, 138. Now these ones are actually the same. 35, 60, 90. $7,000 parts per million in protein. Okay. Potassium. These ones are the important ones. .8, 4.5. Okay, calcium. Why are these important? Oh, you'll find out, because this is why you get trigger points. 2.1, 4.8 parts per million. Magnesium, 7.0, 1.7. That's a high number, right? I know a couple of doctors are watching for sure, and I know who they are. Can't hide from me. Chloride, 2.5. Oops. Or 119 parts per million. Okay. What else do we need to know about it? Well, its pH level is 7.33 to 7.41. Okay. So what does that tell us? I know you can't really see it there, but hope you're following along. Again, just put on my TikTok, I'll put it there. Well, given the makeup, we'll go back to black first. Given the makeup, I thought I'd also just say I'm actually live on YouTube. If anyone is curious, you're welcome to join. Just search Dr. Adam Nixon and you'll find it. But I've got a live stream on there teaching this if you want to join. I guess I could do that too. Oh. Here, I'll do that. Just go live on here. Okay, settings. Where's the one about? Do I have to start that first? I think I do. Okay, I'll do that and then I'll flip the camera after. Okay, so now if I go to effects, right? And then I can flip the camera. Is that how this works? I'm still not used to this. Yes. Background noise settings. Where's the camera? Where can you like flip the camera? Like mirror it. I know I've done this before. Sorry guys, if you're watching. Cancel. Effects. Aha, there. Okay, I'm going to go to voice effects now. Okay, followers, tell me how I can change the there we go. Okay. So we're looking at the fascial system and how/why trigger points happen. And then the question becomes what the long-term effects are. And fun fact, it's why soccer players, I mean women's soccer players, actually don't have any ACLs / have damaged ones and get surgery. Why? Well, because their body starts clearing off space on their patella to start laying neural pathways. That's one of the long-term effects, actually. So let's focus on, so this is the chemical makeup, which makes up the fascial system, which is 8 different slings, right? Which then wrap around every single muscle, what's one of its main functions is helps shape, maintain, keep in place, your muscles, organs, That's like one of its main purposes, but it also delivers nutrients, helps protect from injuries, these are the new ones, which then actually create your trigger points, actually. Why would that create trigger points? The key is over here. And this has huge implications on medicine, actually. Like, more than you would ever know. Well, magnesium, calcium carbonate. Ooh, scary, large words. What does that do? Oh, yeah, I should. Hold on. We'll go there too. So what does it do? Well, it creates magnesium calcium carbonate, which is an exothermic reaction. And since now it's actually operating at 10 to the 12th power, which is then, again, light speed communications, right? Well, now it's preemptively turning the fascial tissue into fiberglass. For power lifters, who don't use belts, right? Bracing their abdominals. So what does that mean? This is why they can lift without a belt. Because they don't need it. Because they're actually in touch with their body enough to use this tissue on its own, which is like 10 times better, actually. So there's a couple ways that the body gets rid of it. What's the neutralizing reaction? If it's now turning to fiberglass within your body, which is now where fascia is, this is where trigger points are now coming from this reaction not completing. And it's not just physical trauma, it's emotional trauma that causes this now too. So what's now causing it? Or what's now dissolving that fiberglass once it's turned into, your body is now predicting, right? Say you're a linebacker, and now all of a sudden, your body is tensing up. You can't move because your body is now turning into literally fiberglass on the inside. This very, very thin tissue, like so thin, is now turning into calcium magnesium carbonate within the body, which is neutralized by, for some people, sodium chloride, table salt. which then creates bicarb, which is excreted how? Not just through urine, no. For somebody who said that online. Through breath, the lungs. Oxygen exchange. So where does it go? Oh, it goes so many places from here. So many places, so many places, so many places. But one of the main ones is now female soccer players and other athletes where, because this happens, well, cauliflower ear, not scar tissue. It's actually brain matter. Their brains have gone, I'm done with this domestic violence relationship, asshole. You keep knocking me around in the head. I'm done with that. Ear at least listens to me, gives me a place to sleep at night without beating me. So I'm moving out to Ear's place. See you later, bitch, is what your brain is saying. And it does the same thing for female soccer players, except for there's a difference between the two. Why might it start clearing cartilage and splice off of the patella instead of the ears like it does with MMA fighters? That's the question. Okay, well, this bitch, not only does she knock me around inside the skull, which I don't appreciate, but my usual place that I would go to when I'm having a fight, well, has a habit of falling through spiky metal objects, and I don't feel safe creating a home there either. So I'm going to go with option number 3 for my alternative arrangements during a domestic violence, because now apparently I've got 2 partners for that, is what the brain says. So instead of developing on the ear with women soccer players, now it starts to kick off cartilage and other individual. It's the least objectionable outcome for the brain to go, okay, well, I can't do the ear. I can't stand the head. So I'm going to go and create a home on the knee. Screw you. So it does. Adaptation. Brain moved out. To ear or the knee. MMA fighters, typically we see cauliflower ear. Women's soccer, if you're just joining, well, to the knee, because they have ear piercings. Through the cartilage. And your brain, since it remembers that pain, right, and goes, right, they tend to have spiky objects and fall on them quite often, and I'm still trying to reject that piece of metal in their ear. So I don't think Ear's house is a good option too. I'm going to the knee in this domestic violence situation. Screw this. And then it starts kicking. Since your brain is more important than cartilage and, you know, your ability to walk, it goes, well, too bad. I don't care. I'm kicking you out for my house to live, seeing as I can't go to my usual places, which is the fun part. A lot of implications with this. a lot. But that is why your body gets, it's why you get trigger points. It's due to the fact that it turns into a fiberglass cast essentially, and it predicts where you're going to have injuries as well. Because again, it communicates at 10 to the 12th power, 500 terahertz. That's terahertz. That's the exact same as your internet speed technology at home. It is moving. It makes a connection like that. It's directly connected to the brain, meaning it's not a ligament, which means it's faster than your parasympathetic. Well, it now replaces the central nervous system as the primary functioning nervous system, actually. And it does a lot more than you think. Again, communicates at light speeds, not like your slow dial-up internet connection of your central nervous system. So congratulations. I win. I win. Ha 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 ha. Let's do this one. Not just to your no. For somebody who said that.